Welcome back to Where is the Money? So apparently Amazon is planning to lay off 30,000 people. More layoffs from Amazon. This is no surprise at this time. Always in November towards Thanksgiving and Christmas, they love to lay off around this time. Q4 gotta get on point before the new year. So they start trimming the fat in the company, which includes layoffs.
Just into the newsroom, Amazon is getting ready for what are expected to be the largest layoffs in company history. According to an email to employees, the company is cutting down in some areas and hiring in others, citing the rise of artificial intelligence. As many as 14,000 jobs have been slashed, but multiple outlets report Amazon will lay off in total around 30,000 corporate workers. The company employs about 350,000 corporate workers. Amazon said it would give most people 3 months to look for a new role internally, along with severance pay, outplacement services, and health insurance benefits.
At 6, take a look at this blog post I just found, uploaded this morning. It's written by a senior vice president at Amazon. She writes in part, some may ask why we're reducing roles when the company is performing well. She then cites AI and the rate of innovation, adding, we are convicted that we need to be organized more leanly with fewer layers and more ownership.
Interesting seeing AI cited as the reason here. AI, just that growth of that industry and of that aspect of technology already having its impacts here in America.
Impact. And you just feel for anyone who's going to lose a job today. Just an awful time.
Just the worst. All right.
Now, oftentimes when this happens and a major company make major layoffs, like, 30,000 in one swoop, that kind of sets the tone for other large corporations to do the same, because they're always in competition with each other. They're always looking over the fence to see what the other competitor is doing. So if they can trim their workforce, if they can save money, which the workforce is a large expense for any company, if they can trim that by 30,000 salary roles, what kind of message is that sending for the entire industry? Because they will follow suit with the rest of them, especially to save their bottom line.
Breaking news, 30,000 people are about to lose their jobs. Amazon is reportedly planning to lay off around 30,000 corporate employees. To put this in perspective, this would be the largest corporate layoff that we've seen in years, and this is vastly beating out Microsoft's 9,000 employee layoff and Intel's 15% workforce slashing. This is totally devastating news that is impacting thousands of people and their families. And not to be an alarmist, but what I am very worried about is Amazon doesn't just make business decisions, they set the tone for corporate America. When Amazon moves, everyone else follows. Remember when they started doing return to office mandates? Suddenly, every single company out there was bringing people back to the office. So when Amazon lays off 30,000 people, essentially setting a precedent for a mass layoff, what kind of domino effect do you think that's going to have on the rest of corporate America? Every CEO in America could look at their own headcount and think, well, Amazon can cut this deep, why can't we? Your job security isn't about how good you are at your job, it's about how you look on a spreadsheet. My heart goes out to everybody who's going to be impacted from this. It's going to be huge. And for those of you thinking that it's time to start building your own safety net, it's time. Let's go.
So the cycle is about to continue again. The federal layoffs got it started. Some of these other companies, Meta started laying off their AI. So it's getting going again for another wave and cycle of mass layoffs. This is not a one-off. They're going to continue down this road. They're committed to doing just this. They're trying to make the company so lean and so efficient, per se, that they're going to cut everybody they can. If they got to hire a few back in order to pad up the numbers, they're going to do so, but they're going to be able to save so much money at the expense of thousands and thousands and thousands of people out of work in a workforce that is difficult to find another job. They're saving money with the workforce by going to AI. A lot of people that's very seasoned with understanding the capabilities of AI, with implementing in the corporate enterprise, is saying that AI is not ready. And they're using AI as a cover just for them to lay off people. And they're going to use different contractors, freelancers, and things like that to pad up the numbers to do what AI can't do, but still save money. So this lady has a term for that. She called it the white collar gig economy. Are you familiar with this?
We are in a white collar gig economy. Here's what's happened. The workforce, the labor force, is human capital. That is an asset on the balance sheet that can be adjusted up or down depending on how much of a profit the company wants to make. That means that when layoffs happen now, it's not like the company went bankrupt. It's that oftentimes they want more profit. Then what happens after they do the layoffs? Suddenly, they're no longer backfilling those roles, and they're only hiring freelancers and contractors or new vendors to do those exact same services that those people who were laid off were doing. That is what we like to call a gig economy, friends. You are no different from an Uber driver. And that's the relationship that you need to develop to your corporate work. I work for myself now. I own my own business, a production agency called Moyo. But I worked in corporate for the last 5 years as a market researcher. And I went through at least 2 layoffs. Most of my friends have been laid off, right? That is how the world works now. And so if you think about an Uber driver, he is not thinking to himself, oh, Uber is my life. I love Uber. And they're not thinking, I'm a part of the Uber family. They're doing their job. And that's not to say we need to be nihilistic about our work, but it does mean that we need to be really, really smart because nobody's coming to save us, especially not the companies we work for.
So you went from a salary worker or a regular hourly full-time worker with benefits to contract freelance work with the corporations, because these corporations are not trying to give you the same kind of package you had back in the day or your grandparents had, where you stay at a job, you got a solid pension, all the retirement benefits is there, the 401k, the matching, all the stuff with the package and the salary and the money all lined up to a good retirement. That's not where we are today. A lot of these companies are opting out of that entire thing. They don't even want to pay your health care. They don't want to pay matching. They don't want to pay any of that. So if the white collar gig economy is what she's saying, then a lot of these workers are turning to something no different than like an Uber or a Lyft. It is your responsibility as a 1099 person to work with a company, do your job, and that's it. They're not trying to make any other accommodations for you or the work. Get in, do your job, pay the minimum, and get back out. They don't care no more. So what do you guys make of this new layoff with Amazon? Crazy, right? But this is only the beginning. We're still going. What is this? 2-3 years of multiple cycles of layoff with the tech workers and the tech layoffs to UPS, to Amazon, to all these different companies, not including the federal layoffs. We are just getting started. So what do you make of this? Put your comments below. Let's talk about it. This is Where is the Money? Talk to you soon.